So I'm super excited to talk about MC Escher. Gemini, born in 1898, Dutch, studied architecture, and then he went into graphic design. He's known to be an optical illusionist, works with tessellation. His art wasn't even considered by the art community until like he was 70. He was actually revered by mathematicians and scientists instead. Only Kubrick wanted to work with him as well as Mick Jagger, and then Mick Jagger called him by his first name. He was upset. He told Mick Jagger's assistant, he was like, "Tell Mr. Jagger that he does not know me as Moritz." So don't fuck with MC Escher. Don't fuck with any Geminis. So MC Escher has been a huge inspiration for me when directing Hide in Plain Sight. There's actually 2 more scenes that I need to shoot. Really inspired by the Penrose stairs, which look like an infinite loop. They're going up and down almost at the same time. They're called inexhaustible objects. MC Escher and made his own piece of work called Ascending, Descending. And this is really interesting because it has similar Penrose stairs at the top of the building, and then there's a man on the lower half of the building looking up at the people going endlessly. And then there's also a man sitting on the steps in front of the house, quite sad about the desolate situation that's happening up there. And this really sick video game based on his work called Echochrome. With perspective is something that just really excited and intrigued me. I don't have like $1 million budget. There's literally like 3 people making this film. I think that's an exciting challenge, right? How can I manipulate the frame? How can I manipulate film in general with the story, with the audio visual, to create this crazy, thrilling sensation that I'm trying to make? That's what I want to do when I'm shooting these scenes where she's going through the forest, going on her run with the different sculptures along Allen Parkway. So that's where I'm gonna be shooting this, and there's this really awesome double-headed bridge that, ends up in 2 different areas and splits into a higher and lower level. So if you just have the frame set, you can see the bridge on top, and then there's a sidewalk underneath, and there's a road going underneath the bridge, and then there's a bike lane right here. There's multiple different levels within a single frame, which kind of gives you that same framework that Penrose stairs had and that his work Ascending and Descending had as well. And I want to create this crazy optical illusion. Shot's going to be static. You're going to see her running down the bridge, and the next you see her underneath in the bike lane going this way, and then you see her on a higher plane and she's going backwards, and then but it looks like it's supposed to be in the same continuous loop. And so I'm really excited to shoot something like that to mimic MC Escher's work and create that illusion of what's happening. I'm not getting anywhere. Even what dimension are we in? Kind of sci-fi thriller. Alice in Wonderland, you really see that's something that you see in the scene with Snow White. She's running when the huntsman tells her the queen is jealous and sent him to kill her, and she goes off running. The forest is terrifying, and she's going all these different directions. She's disorientated. She falls through the floor into a swamp with alligator log things. Sees all these eyes, overwhelmed, and just passes out on the ground. That is exactly the same thing I'm trying to mimic by using MC Escher's work and how he challenged perspective. He actually was first inspired by nature, and then he decided to turn into his inner visions and create that. So instead of imitating nature, he wanted to create completely new forms of life. And that's just the impossible nature of his work that I just love, because isn't that what a thriller and sci-fi is? It messes with your ideas and constraints of the physical realities that we're in, and instead it creates a completely different plane that you get to experience. So I love taking my work there, and I think this is a really great way to do that.